Whoa, Jesus. Guess I had a show going on here. Crazy, huh? Crazy times. Yeah. Anyway, somebody posted this in Gray Hughes Investigates Facebook page earlier. So I thought I'd take a look at it. It's not a huge... There's not a ton of information on this case, but it's interesting. Seems like it should be solved at this point. And so I guess we'll go over it. All right. The case of Amanda Goodman. One of the things that was weird was how little in the newspaper. It's almost like nobody reported on it the first 5, like, because she was only 13 years old. And it's almost like they waited until she would have turned 18. And that's like the first article I found was 1994 instead of 1989, which is the year that she was murdered. I don't know. And I tried different things like, body found, used certain date ranges, and it still wasn't in there. So I don't know what the deal was, if they kept it close to the vest or whatever the hell they were doing back then. Yeah. And so here's the thing is, I know that a lot of people go out and they watch other YouTubers, like when people make podcasts and videos on YouTube, they go out and watch everybody else's videos, listen to other podcasts, and get it, and then come up and have their opinions. But see, I don't like to do that very much. I mean, I'll listen to a podcast if it's one of the fact-based ones that just tells the story. But whenever there's opinions injected, I don't want to hear those. Okay? Because I just want to have my own unaffected opinion when I do a show. Like, I just want to take in the information and then come up with what I think. Okay? I don't like having somebody else's opinion and then you say, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I think that too. I don't want it like that. So at least when you watch my show, you'll be getting my opinion. You might not agree with it, but that's how it's going to be. All right. Anyways, look at that. I got my We Are Freaks shirt on there. I don't know how high that would be, but you can't really see it. But anyways, I'll be getting the visors, I don't know, probably next month sometime. It says Freak and then Gray Hughes Investigates Small embroidered on there, though. All right. I didn't get the baseball cap one. Yeah. So, hello, everybody. I'll just wait for other people to show up so they don't say, oh, so what are we talking about now? Hey, what the case are we doing? Hey, Gray, can you cover this case too? Can you do this one? And hey, Gray, have you thought of covering... Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking about what I was going to cover while I was doing this show. So if you don't mind, if you could send me an email, that would be fantastic. Yeah, well, it's not a baseball cap. It's a visor, Rachel. Okay? That's what it is. And the reality of it is I don't really need suggestions. Like if you have a case that's nobody's really talking about, it's something that is, has a lot of information and interesting, but nobody's talking about it, then feel free to send it to me. Or updates on cases we've already discussed. But just say, hey, Gray, have you covered this one? And it's one of the ones that every single other person's done. It's, I probably won't be doing it. Okay? So don't waste your time sending me 15,000 links, all the different stuff like that. There is one that I might do, but have a whole different reason for doing it. Would be like the West Memphis 3 one. I'm actually what I'm doing is I'm taking, there's like 1,000, not 1,000, but a ton of crime scene photos. Not of the actual bodies, but different aerial shots, and I'm going to put it all on Google Earth exactly where it is, and you'll see the camera moving around so that you have a better feel of an orientation for all the different locations, okay? So I've already I did a bunch of that a while ago, and I was thinking of picking that back up again. I know that a lot of people have, and I don't really want to go through the whole thing again and all this stuff. I'm just going to do something else as a reference for other people. All right? That's right, Top Cop. You didn't know that? It was after the show, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to, I think I have to open up Google Earth now because it got shut down. I actually don't know. We can try to figure out in general, there's where this crime happened, but there really isn't a ton of information about it. That's the sad part about it. Yeah, and then later what we'll do is a word search. I found that if you type in body found in a barrel, you come up with an uncomfortable number of stories. I guess that's sort of like in vogue or some shit like that. All right, I'll wait. I'll wait till the congratulatory comments. Okay, hold on. No problem, no problem. All right. So this crime actually happened in 1989. I think it was June 16th, if I remember right. Yeah, or excuse me, May 16th. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to switch screens here, and you'll see what the hell I'm looking at. So I did find, this is the first article that I could find, but it was 5 years later. And I'm wondering if it's because she was 13, and then when she was 18, they figured, okay, we'll say her name and that kind of thing. I don't know. So investigators in Brown County, hey, thank you, Barbara Smith. 2,000 views. I knew you were going to say that. I hadn't even seen your comment yet.
Okay, you'll talk me into it. 2,000 views for you.
All right. Investigators in Brown County are turning to the public for help in the unsolved murder of a 13-year-old Brownwood girl almost 5 years ago. Law enforcement officials say they are no closer to solving the murder of Amanda Goodman than they were in 1989. Amanda's body was found in a ditch in the south part of town on May 16, 1989. So this is in Texas, in Brown County. But right there, let's see. So I guess Brownwood. Let's see if we can find that area. Brownwood, Texas. All right. I'll make a folder for Amanda Goodman. Hey, it's Barney Fife. 3,000 views. Do I hear 4,000 views? Do I hear 4,000 views? Do I hear 5,000 views? 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Do I hear 5,000?
I can beat that.
Wow. I thought I did that. I hit this button to do audio, and I thought I was the one. Okay, hold on.
I'm fired out of midnight, 10 down,
4,000,
15,
4,000, 4,000, 5,000. We hear 5,000 views. We're at 6,000, 6,000. Or hit the like button. Hit the like button.
30. You want to put 30, sir? 25, and you're out. 25,
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay. All right, there you go. So this is the town right there. Call it what it's called, Brownwood. I always hit the save now. I try to remember to do that a lot. Okay. There it is. So this is the 1994 article. This is in February 6th, 1994 in the Monitor in McAllen, Texas. Amanda's body was found in a ditch in the south part of town on May 16, 1989. The cause of death was a single gunshot wound to the left side of the head below the earlobe, investigators said. So no evidence of rape was found. The last reported sighting of the girl was an hour earlier, investigators said. So she was found just an hour after somebody had actually seen her alive. Investigators are grabbing for straws, hoping that someone will come forward with information about the Brownwood Middle School girl's death. So now we can put that one in Brownwood Middle School. And if you know the information on the story, don't type it in so early. I'm just going to go through it all here, okay? I know a lot of you like to do that kind of stuff. Alright, it's called the Brownwood Middle School. Yeah, so it's probably, well, there's Brownwood Middle School right there. And this is the south part of town. So I'll just put that right there. All right. I think this case has brought more concern and more tears to this community than I can ever recall because it was a sensational type thing. Right. Well, was it even in the paper, though? I mean, I couldn't find anything. The Sheriff's Department, Texas Rangers, and District Attorney's Office held the briefing. We have a 13-year-old student who's a good kid who's allegedly walking home from school, and then the next thing we know, she's lying in a ditch in our county and has been murdered. Donahue said, people get murdered all the time, but we don't have school children that get murdered in Brown County. Donahue said investigators have kept in contact with Amanda's family now, living in Austin. Authorities believe that there are witnesses who have not come forward. They are urging anyone with information to contact a law agency. There has not been any concrete evidence that we could come to a district attorney with, attorney with the ask for a warrant, and we don't have enough evidence to file a case, period, on anybody at this point. So 5 years later, absolutely nothing. All right, now there is another article that was the same day, so it must have just been, it looks like it's pretty similar. We have a 13-year, yeah, so it's the same, basically it's a similar article, almost identical, but just in a different paper. So this is one's in the Victoria Advocate, all right? All right, so let me, I'm going to open up think it's this one right here. So this is an article about one of her friends that just remembers the case. So we can go through this one. This one is brownwoodtexas.com, and this is an article from May 10th, 2018. So at least people are still talking about her after all this time. That's important. But what's more important is, you know, a case like this, there's no crime scene photos, there's nothing, there's almost no information that's been given out there so that people might actually be able to come forward and come up with something. You know, you'd think that there'd be some DNA based on some of the stuff we're about to find out here, although not of a sexual nature. 29 years after her murder at age 13, Amanda Goodman's surviving family members are no longer in Brownwood. So this is, I guess, Judy Shank isn't related to Goodman's family, but she describes Amanda, who lived in Brownwood with her mother. Shank, 37, is a cosmetologist in Brownwood. She has little hope that the murder will ever be solved, but she doesn't want the community to forget Goodman. I'll just skip down to here. Goodman was last seen alive walking home from Brownwood Middle School, where she was in 7th grade. A passerby found her body just off Indian Creek Road. So now we can put that in. Just off Indian Creek Road. Let's see where that is. But, yep, further south. So somewhere down here, we're not going to get any more specific. I wonder if it continues on. Is it still called Indian Creek Road there? I know it says 237. So this is Indian Creek Road here. And then sometimes it just stops when you get to an intersection. Indian Creek Road. Okay, well, that narrows it quite a bit because I think Indian Creek Road only goes to right there. So if I was going to put a pin on the end of it, it'd be right there and right there. Okay, so in this scenario, there's the school, and they're saying south of town, so I'm imagining it's further down this direction. That's what I would say. And let's see how far back we can go back on Google Earth. 1995. So now look at the difference there. And it's still pretty rural, but this looks really, there's even some trees and so forth. Let's move it forward again. See, it's a lot more sparse. Still rural, but it looks like, let me see what this area looks like in 95. So that's still there. That was all, it's been there. They haven't done a ton, though, if you look at it. As a matter of fact, this is even gone later, you know? It just seems like it's a little bit more barren. There's more trees around that time. So let's actually just go down to the road. Yep, there's Google Earth, amazingly, is on that road. So let's take a look at it. So they said she was found in a ditch off of here, so you can kind of see, let's do the, okay, so if we go this direction, we're on Indian Creek Road. So I would imagine she was found on the side over here somewhere. I wonder if there's even a memorial of some sort. If you go down, a lot of times people put flowers over the years where somebody's found. Maybe we'll get lucky. And also, we don't know exactly if it was found right off the road, but anyways, we'll get back to this. So here we are, we're on Indian Creek Road. Well, actually, this one says, found her body just off Indian Creek Road about 10 miles south of Brownwood. So maybe it becomes Indian Creek Road again, or people just refer to the same. So let's see, Brownwood. So I guess this could be Indian Creek Road too. This 237 here. But see, the naming of it stops right in this area. See, Indian Creek Road right there. Well, you could see the second ago. Right there. And then as it gets past through this intersection, now it's 237. But I could see people still calling it that, I guess. Say 237. So I guess we might have to go further out. Maybe it's even further down, like way down there. So I don't know. All I can say is they changed the name after it got past that intersection, but I could see people still calling that Indian Creek Road. Locals, you know. Oh yeah, it's Indian Creek Road. Even though maybe technically it switches over to 237. All right. She had been shot once in the head. Then Texas Ranger Bobby Grubbs and representatives of other agencies, including the Brownwood Police Department and Brown County Sheriff's Office, began investigating the murder. In 2009, interview Grubbs, who has retired as a ranger and was elected Brown County Sheriff, said he thinks Goodman got into a vehicle with someone that she knew and trusted. Grubbs believed Goodman was likely getting out of the vehicle when she was shot. And maybe that's... I wonder how they would know that specifically. Maybe the side of the road she was found on. I don't know. The bullet entered near her left earlobe. Okay, so kind of grab your left earlobe. Everybody's out there doing it, right? All right, so it's below the left earlobe and exited the back of her head. See, another article says something different, so we'll have to decide what that, you know, why there's a difference. Grubbs said it appeared her killer had laid her body out deliberately, suggesting it was someone who had cared for her. Her purse and school notebook were nearby. Neither the bullet nor the gun were found. Really? I mean, if there's an exit wound, you guys got to put a little bit better effort to find the bullet, okay? I mean, I don't care if you got to get 1,000 people at the crime scene with metal detectors. Get going, okay? I think you should be doing that in the Schnee Oberholzer case as well, right? Any case that you're not finding the bullets, but you know one exited, I guarantee it the killer didn't have a shovel and start digging through the ground hoping to find a bullet. Okay, so the bullet's out there. Now, if it's inside the body, then it's possible that they dug around and got the bullet out. Sometimes they do weird shit like that. But when it exits, out in the woods, they're not going to be looking around for a bullet. They might quickly look and, oh, they don't see it, and they're getting the hell out of there. All right? Well, she could have been shot somewhere else, but they said while she was getting out of the vehicle. And I don't know if they know where that is. They might have even found blood spatter on the side of the road where they think that happened. That might be why they think that. There might be the pattern of blood spatter where they feel like she was shot and then maybe she was moved, something like that. Investigators interviewed numerous people, including family members and members of now disbanded church, a Pentecostal congregation called the Church of Brownwood. Investigators took hard looks at people they believed were suspects, but nothing panned out. Yeah. So I'm going to move on to the next article now. So this is one that's from... This one is earlier than the last article. This one's from 2009, but it seems to have a little bit more detailed information. Okay, and this is also the brownwoodtexas.com, and same image. Apparently that's one of the only images that they have. I haven't seen any other images. Yes, you can let go of your earlobe now, far north. She lay on her back in the grass, her body clothed in white striped blouse. Or in the white striped blouse. Blue jean skirt, blue socks, and tennis shoes she'd worn to school that day. So it makes you think like she got out of school and then somebody that she trusted picked her up. And then that person killed her. You kind of, I mean, why would you do that, though? I mean, how the body's placed seems like a serial killer. I think you'll see this coming up here in a minute. Or I guess it could be somebody that just really cared, but then why'd you blow her brains out then? I mean, why'd you do that? All right, here we go. Goodman was last seen alive walking home from Brownwood Middle School, where she was in the 7th grade. A passerby found her body just off Indian Creek Road, about 10 miles south of Brownwood. Okay, so let's do this again. Okay, Brownwood. I'm just going to do Brownwood, Texas. Okay, so it's right there. Now, when people measure distances, do you think they do it from right when they get to the edge of the town and go 10 miles? What do you think? I mean, I can start right here, perhaps. But let's go. We got to go over to this specific road here. I'm going to start right there. I'm going to guess. Let's just guess there. We'll be close. All right, so right now we're at 2.5 miles. And right now at 3.79. Oh man, that made a whole bunch of... Okay, that's 5 miles. Yeah, but then when somebody's driving, they don't measure post office. They don't go, oh, hey, post office. They just go, oh, yeah, about 10 miles south. I don't think anybody starts at the post office and then... I think that, you know, I don't know. Maybe there's a technical way that police do it every time. They just said about 10 miles south. Okay, so 6.13, 6.66. Hey, all right, 666, everybody. Yeah, but how do you know, like, when somebody says, hey, 10 miles south, that they meant that they started at the post office? I doubt an officer drives over to the post office and then starts driving down the road. That's just my opinion. Maybe they do it every time, you guys. I don't know. If you can verify that as a true thing, I'll believe it. So this is still on 237 here, the one that... Okay, 9.1. And usually when they say 10 miles, they're talking on the road. They don't do crow fly stuff in 1989. I don't think they're looking at a map. Okay, so that's 10 miles right there. Let me, I'm going to switch the, make it thicker here. Red and 4 points. Okay, so that's quite a bit further away than where the name of that street ended there. So let's see. And why would this guy take her 10 miles away, not sexually assault her, and then shoot her? You know? Ah, man, there's no street view here. Doesn't look like, anyways. Yeah, but it does look like a pretty desolate area. Not much going on out there. Let's see what it looked like in 1980. Wow, that goes back to 84 on that one. Okay, that's 95 right there. Yeah, man, a lot of woods, hardly any homes, just really sporadic. Okay, so Grubb said he thinks she had gotten into a vehicle with someone she knew and trusted. He thinks she was getting out of the vehicle when she was shot. The bullet entered near her earlobe and exited the back of her head. Grubb said it appeared her killer had laid her body out deliberately, suggesting it was someone who had cared for her. The girl's head was turned to the left. Her arms were at her sides, and her purse and school notebook were nearby. Neither the bullet nor the gun were found. Grubbs believed she was shot with a handgun, but said that's not known for certain. Goodman, known to friends and family members as Sissy, had turned 13 just 3 days earlier, May 13th, and she lived with her family in Southside Village Apartments. Her family consisted of her mother, Barbara, her stepfather, George. I wonder if I can find any of these people and get any one of them to just give out any information. With the exception of George, who is no longer married to Barbara, the family has relocated to Ranger, Texas. Investigators interviewed numerous people, including family members and members of her now disbanded church. The investigation remains open even to this day. Barbara, now 58, hasn't been one to suffer quietly. She has kept her daughter's name before the media, hoping the attention will uncover a lead, maybe spark someone to come forward and give information. Alright, and let's see, we also have this. This is on a website, oaoa.com. Another unsolved case of a Brownwood teen found shot in the head on May 16, 1989, also remains unsolved and is always on my mind. Friday marked the 25th anniversary of the murder of Amanda Sissy Goodman, a 13-year-old 8th grader. Crime scene photos show she had been gingerly laid on the side of the road under a tree with her purse and notebook placed beside her. Her head was resting on a paper cup. Photos also show that at some point after she was shot, her head had rested on the opened notebook. That at some point after she was shot, her head had rested on the open notebook. So it must not have been rested on the open notebook when they found her. They just know that at one point she was, or they would have said that her head was on the cup. Photos also show that at some point after she was shot, her head had rested on the open notebook. Investigators believe she was shot with a 38 or 45 caliber bullet, which entered just in front of her left ear and exited above her right ear. See, this is different than the other one, it said the back of the head, right? So they're saying it entered, let's see, just in front of her left ear. So, well, see, that one said earlobe, right? So now that doesn't make any sense. So you say in front of the left ear, so right on your temple, basically. And then it exited just above the right ear. So that means the angle was like here. I'll show you. Like here's my left ear, right? Let's just say right there, but then it came out higher. So was she kind of like, maybe she was ducking away a little bit like this. and then boom, or maybe he even pressed the gun up next to her head, pushing it a little bit like this, and then her head tilts, and he boom, right? I don't know, but they didn't say that there was stippling on the side of her head or anything like that. Thanks, Barbara. Wow, another 2,000 views. Yeah, so it actually rises as it goes through the head, and that could be achieved a whole bunch of different ways. You know, everyone always says, "Oh, wow!" So they must have been below the person, but no. All you have to do is, if the person's head's tilted slightly, you get the angle. So there's a million different ways that you can get the angle. Now, if they're stippling tattooing of
okay, Gray, another 2,000 views for you.
Of the gunshot powder, where it's called, gunshot residue, or the, tattooing, stippling. If it's right there on the side of her head, that means the gun was, it depends on how concentric it is too. So if it's really tight, that means the gun was almost right onto the head, almost touching it. If it's spread out a little bit more, because it's kind of like a conical shape as it goes out, then that means it's a little bit further away. But I think it's something like 18 to 24 inches is the maximum distance that you'll actually get stippling. And they believe that she was exiting the vehicle when she was shot. So I think they must have been able to find... But when did he do this, by the way? I mean, was it late at night? Did he take her somewhere first? Because would you really do this right after school at like 4 o'clock? Drive right over there? They did say that she was seen an hour earlier. So what did he do? Shoot her and take the time to go out, place her body, do all this stuff? And anybody could have just driven by at that time. Don't you guys find that weird? Yeah, like exiting the vehicle because the bullet would go through her left side. And then maybe she was having her head turned slightly. You know when you kind of lean to your right to get out the door, your head's slightly tilted, and maybe it created that angle. See what I'm saying? Yeah, it's totally crazy. I mean, how come they don't have an arrest in this one? The guy shoots her, drives up down the road, probably was doing kind of like the bridge guy, right? He saw that there was nobody driving directly behind him, probably picked a time where there wasn't going to be, there was nobody right anywhere near in front of him, nobody behind him, driving way out in the country out there. You're not a lot of people out here. This isn't some major highway here. Look how crappy this thing is. I mean, in fact, look at this. I mean, we have a satellite image here, right? And I haven't seen one car on the road as we are going down this. Look at this. And let's see if we can find one freaking car in the 10-mile range here, all right? Just for the hell of it. I'm going to turn off this thing. Let's see if we can find one car on this road, and this is satellite imagery from the daytime. You can even see the shadow there. It's in the evening. There should be people driving around, right? Okay, there's one, right? There's one car right there. But it's definitely not a highly traveled road. I mean, there's nothing going on this thing. Okay, there's two. Second one. But look at all the time you would have with all that distance that were in between each car. You guys getting as dizzy as I am? Okay, there's 3 right there. But look at this thing. It's really narrow too. Almost one way, but you kind of have to make sure, kind of pull over to the side so nobody runs into you. So what are we at? 3 now? So right there, about 5 miles in, we only had 3 cars on a 10-mile stretch. This is just an experiment we're doing right now, just for the hell of it. I guess it would depend on what day too. Okay, this is doesn't get well. It's January 20th. Does anybody want to go out there and tell me what day of the week that is? It says right down here, January 20th, 2019 is this shot right here. Now imagine going back to 1989. There's going to be even less traffic on this thing. Yeah, but Pink, it's not nighttime because she left school and then she was found dead an hour later. It's Sunday. I was kind of wondering if it was a Sunday. Well, that would be... I was actually wondering that because if it's a Sunday, then there's not going to be a lot of traffic anyways. Let's see what happens if you go to... All right, what's June 6th? What day of the week is that? We'll start this over again. June 6th, June 6th, 2000, well, hold on. Okay, November 16th, 2011. I mean, I can type it into it. What day of the week is November ins is November 11th or November 16th 2011. That's a Wednesday. Okay, so that one's probably a little bit more accurate. So let's start with this one. All right, and this is 2011, so we're back in time a little bit. I know you guys are getting really dizzy at this point. Wait, you know what I could do? Here, let's do this. Here, screw it. There we go. I'm gonna do a tour just of the road, and we can just watch it, and you guys can we can count. There we go. All right, that makes it easy. All right, we'll let you guys count the cars. So far I think I see one coming up there. Okay, there's one, right? There's a second one. We're kind of closer to town now. So there's 2 right there, and then I don't see any other ones. I wonder if I could just turn that off. There we go. 'Cause we're going to follow this road. It'll be pretty obvious. All right, so there was 2. It looks like we're coming up on a couple more cars right there. 3, 4. But again, we're still closer to town. There's no way Barney Fife can shoot a 357. It'd blow him back 100 yards right after he sniffed. All right, so we got 4 cars still at this point. You guys didn't see any new ones, right? 4. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this little tour it's on. I think this is more appropriate for this right here, don't you think? Oh yeah. I've only seen those 4 still, right? Have you guys seen anything else? Because now we're getting further out of town on this road that's really... It's basically one way. I see one coming up here, I think, maybe, right there on that. So 4... no, that doesn't look like... It looks like cattle. Wait, what the hell was that? 4... Still just 4, right? That was it. Yes, that's all there was. There was just 4 cars on that 10-mile stretch, and almost all of them were right next to town, right? So maybe this person even lives kind of somewhere out here where he knew how sparsely it was traveled, right? That's interesting. So he probably, being out there, I don't know how flat it is. Looks like there are some hills here. He might have been able to see that there was nobody out there and felt comfortable. But man, what a risky thing that is, to shoot somebody as they're exiting the vehicle. And
cow, cow, cow.
Hey, Kit Kat. Thank you. Cow, cow, cow. Yeah, it did look like a herd of cattle there for a minute, didn't it? Yeah, I'm conditioned to that too. Yeah. So I still find it odd that he would get out of the vehicle after he shot her. She was probably sprawled out on the ground. Then he sounds like he gingerly is the term they use, placed her with her hands at her side. I think she was on her back. Her head turned to the left to hide the gunshot wound, the entry wound. And her head was on a cup and her items were next to her, but apparently her head was on a notebook as well at some point. Come on, that is some weird crap right there. Hey, look at that. Thank you, Crystal, a.k.a. Beaver Gaming sub Crystal. So let me go over that screenshot again, this one. And in one of the articles I was reading, they actually have a folder out there on crime scene photos. I think it's called like Amanda
Gray, we appreciate you.
Goodman murder folder. That's what the name of the folder is. Oh wow, here we go. Raven just put one in. How now, brown cow? Potato. I don't think it's going to be able to pronounce half of those. Here we go. Let's see if Ravens work. Well, who knows? Doodle-doo-doo-doo. You guys are nuts.
How now, brown cow? Potato cat face with rice smile smiling face with 3 hearts woman cooking wilted flour.
Wow. Woman cooking. Wow, that's crazy. So it knew to interpret two different icons like that. It said, fox with wry smile, smiley face with hearts, woman cooking, wilted rose. Yeah, great. I just got demonetized by the non-PC police. How dare you say woman cooking? My God, they're not supposed to do that anymore. Who the hell cooks anymore, everybody? We're all supposed to cook. We all cook, right? You've just labeled this channel by saying woman cook. God, how dare you? Yeah, I usually cook my us when she cooks us Filipino food sometimes, but I usually am the one that makes something if we have meat to make. We eat a lot of chicken. You know, really almost raw chicken, Cairo. Almost still wiggling a little bit on the when you know, I cook it just enough where there's still some blood oozing from it. All right, Cairo. All right, good. Look at that was a joke. Okay, it's cooked. I've never really understood that one, the face right there, where the one, you see the one in the Kelly in Oregon put right there? I like steak like that, though. The bloodier, the better, okay? Chicken, forget it. Anyway, see Kelly in Oregon right there, the first four faces. Is that just a smiley face, or is that an ashamed look? Like a surprised, shamed look. Every time I see that, I'm never quite sure what that means. Yeah, I mean, bloody steak is, oh, God. I just tell them this. Just sear it on both sides. Call it a day. Just go, bye. Yeah. That's right. You like carrots. We know that, Cairo. As a matter of fact, the carrot is what led you to Ron Logan's horse. You know, it was amazing. Yeah, that's what I always say too, Kit Kat. I always say I like mine medium rare, but more on the rare side. Okay. I think that's perfect. Like medium rare is perfect because you get a little bit of the one part that's, you know, it's. All right. Okay, here we go. So let's read this part here again. Crime scene photos show she had been gingerly laid out on the side of the road under a tree with her purse and notebook placed beside her. But we know that the notebook that was placed beside her at one point was underneath her head. And there must have been a pattern of a head in blood on the notebook. Her head was resting on a paper cup. Photos also show that at some point after she was shot, her head had rested on the opened notebook. So what was the point of that? You know, like what made you have her head on an open notebook and then go, well, it's better on a cup? Like, how did you change that? I mean, I doubt you shot her, the notebook open, she landed perfectly on the notebook. That's kind of strange. It says, when she was found, her head was turned so the wound was not visible. And there were further complications when she was found. Here's something really unfortunate. It was raining. Investigators told me at the time this made collecting forensic evidence almost impossible. Yeah, man, that's just awful. Let's see. Yeah. At the Brown County Sheriff's Office, photos from the scene are contained in a folder labeled Amanda Goodman Murder. You can see how that can get kind of personal, don't you? I mean, I would like to see the crime scene photos, because I think it's so unusual sounding that I think seeing that would be helpful in understanding who the hell this person was, or the killer is. God, I mean, what do you guys think? What kind of a person would do that? I mean, he's a monster, but we're trying to, somebody close to her, probably, who cared what she looked like when she was found. But then, if you cared, why'd you kill her? Did she know something that you had tried? Maybe he picked her up and tried something, and she completely rejected and fought back. But now he knew. Okay, how about this scenario right here? He's a pedophile type person that her family knew, and they were friends, but they didn't really know that he was like that. Then he picks her up from school, drives out of town with her, tries something, but she completely rejects it, won't allow anything like that. But she's always liked her. He always had liked her. But when she rejected, he knew that she was going to now say something to her parents, and he brought the gun just for that scenario, and then he killed her so that she could never say. But he then gets out of the car and places her that way because the feelings he still had made him do that. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? That's my theory right there. So that's what I'm saying. I don't like to hear the other, like if somebody else went over a theory, it might make you think something else. But that's what I came up with just now as we were going through what we're looking at. Yeah. Oh, her mother died the same day, Jay? Wait, what did he say? That's interesting. So her mother died on the same day? I didn't see that. I thought they just lived out of town somewhere. Could be a woman. I don't think so. I mean, here's the reality, everybody. Women do stuff like this at, I'd say, 99 to 1 reverse rate. I mean, it's not even... I haven't seen... For example, how often do you see women pedophiles out there killing kids? I'm sure they exist, but you just never hear of it. Yeah, but I don't know. It sounded like she wasn't really raped or anything like that prior. And there was no sexual assault even in this one. But could be anything. I guess we don't really know. Well, we don't know that though, Jay. So, right? She's only 13 years old. She just turned 13. Where you come up with that? Yeah, no, yeah. Where's she's only 13 and she just turned 13. There was nobody ever said anything about her being sexually active. Well, no, you must have missed what I said. The go-go booty. You missed what I said. Okay? He's a pedophile that was friends with the family, cared about her. Then when she rejected it, he killed her, because now she's probably going to tell somebody. I don't know. That's just what I think. When you say this isn't a pedophile, how the hell do you know? I don't know if it is either. But the thing to say it's not one, you have no clue. Let's see. Yeah, it sounds like there's people that I think it was down here lower in here that said past couple of weeks I've gotten calls from people who indicate they have information on it. It sounds like one of the people working on the case believes he knows who did it, but can't prove it, and that's what's been frustrating. And we see that a lot, right? In these cases, like they know a couple of these ones that we've covered lately, even the one from the other day. Remember the girl on the island? The little, I think she was, how old was she? 10? Maybe 11? And the father knew who it was all the years, and now it sounds like that is that guy. Wednesday evening. 20th anniversary of Goodman's murder doesn't really ring bells, he said. That's because there are very few days when he doesn't think about the Goodman murder. The 20-year mark is just a reminder to me that it's been a long time. The case is still unsolved. Occasionally, he said he gets calls out of the blue from people who claim to have information about the murder. Investigators check it out to see if there's anything to go on, he said. Yeah. Of who murdered the girls, he said he has a suspicion as to who murdered the girl. Even though that person, a man, passed a polygraph, I don't have the facts to back up my suspicion, Grubb said. His suspicion is based on the man's close connections to the victim and his past history. Well, there you go. Okay. Grubb said, declining to elaborate. Okay, so close to the family, as they already said that they think it's somebody close to the family. That's why I was thinking. Now, the past history here, do you think that could be that it was a, some sort of sexual assault on children, pedophile type stuff? That's interesting there. The investigation remains open, Grubb said, even though there are no new leads. See, I think this is right here. I think he actually knows who did it, just can't prove it. And the reason he can't prove it is because the crime scene was completely destroyed by the rain. Which is weird because it was only an hour later, they said, right? Let's go back to that first one here. Amanda's body was found in a ditch. This was 5 years after the murder. In south part of town on May 16, 1989. The cause of death was a single gunshot wound to the left side of the head below the earlobe. See, that's different than the other article says in front of the left ear, right? So maybe it's below the earlobe, but then in the front. We could maybe think of it like that. No evidence of rape was found. The last reported sighting of the girl was an hour earlier, investigators said. See, that's crazy. I mean, he picked her up, and then an hour later, her body's found on the side of the road by one of the random 2 or 3 cars that happened to drive by there in a long period of time. She probably was easy to see. They drove by, saw her there, and called it in. So an hour, 10 miles would take you, let's say she was picked up at school, let's say at 3:15. That's normally when you get out of school, right? So she was found at maybe 4:15. It only takes probably 10 to 15 minutes to drive there, right? So there was 45 minutes of time unaccounted for. Did he take her somewhere and try some things and she just wasn't going to have it? He always thought, hey, he was trying to work his little magic. Wasn't working. And then he just realized, well, I'm going to have to kill you then. And so that's one of those things that if you're out there and you're somebody and you have a psycho like this, you have to pretend that they're just wonderful. Okay? I know back then it was a little different, but you gotta pretend and play along unless you've got a weapon of some sort. Make them feel, oh God, they're great. I'd like to see you again. Hell, they might even drop you off like an idiot, right? Because these people are morons. You can't believe it did it. Okay, Sam. All right. Yeah. Great. Good for you. All right. Yeah, I think it was like an older guy. I bet you today probably would be, let's see. So it was 89. Let's say so that's 30 years ago, right? I bet you he's 65 to 70, 75, something like that. I will no longer greet people in here, period, if what you say is true. What are you talking about, Edna? Who are you talking to? Yeah, me too, Cairo. Me too. So what are you talking about, Edna? Oh. Oh, yeah. Well, she's just saying, I say on here a lot of times, yeah, everyone's saying hi, hi, hi. Because at the beginning of the show, I'll try to start a show. I think she's just joking around there, Edna. Yeah, I'll try to start a show, and like the first 15, 20 minutes are people just saying, hey, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? And so I'd almost would rather wait to start the show for those 20 minutes to be over, because a lot of people, they've messaged me on the side saying that it gets distracting and they feel like they're obligated to say hi back to every single person who says hi, and then it's like you kind of miss half the show. But yeah, I wouldn't take offense to it. You can say hi to whoever you want to. I don't know who Mr. Marshmallow is. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Delusional lucidity. Don't let this be one of the nights where your keyboard starts deleting people. Okay? It is Saturday. I've never heard of that one before. All right. The cause of death was a single gunshot wound to the left side of the head below the earlobe. Investigators said no evidence of rape was found. The last reported sighting of the girl was an hour earlier. Let me see if there's any difference in this different article here on that part. Just this. Amanda's body was found in a ditch in the south part of town. But they said 10 miles. The cause of death was a single gunshot wound to the left side of the head. I hate how there's inconsistencies. Like if somebody told you this, oh yeah, she was found on the south part of town. What would that mean to you if you heard that? What would that mean to you? It means like, yeah, just right on the outskirts, right? But then the other article says 10 miles. Right? Oh, oogla boogla. Yep, you got it to say oogla boogla. Right, but the article said, Paisley, that it's 10 miles south of town on that road. So that's the part I don't like at all. It's like every single article should be consistent on those kinds of things. Amanda's body was found in a ditch in the south part of town. I mean, really? Come on. You mean 10 miles south of town, right? That's what it said the other article. The cause of death was a single gunshot wound to the left side of the head below the earlobe. Investigators said no evidence of rape was found. The last reported sighting of the girl was an hour earlier, investigators said. See, I think this is the same article, just in a different paper and formatted differently. Investigators are grabbing for straws, hoping that someone will come forward with information about the Brownwood Middle School girl's death. I think she was actually 5'4" and 130 something pounds too at 13. So she wasn't like this really tiny person. Now where the hell I saw that, I don't know. Is it in this one? Maybe that was just in an unsolved page that I saw earlier. But I don't know where that was that I saw that. But she was like 5'4", 100 and... Let me see if I can find that. 5 foot... No, that's not it. No, there it is. She was 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighed 138 pounds, according to the autopsy report. So that's pretty... That's like a normal size person at... You know, even though she was just 12... just like a week prior to that. Right? I mean, 5'4", 138 pounds. I actually used a technique from my art institute to make her eyes pop a little bit more. You see the highlights in there? You put a little brighter spot on there. And that's what, if you look at the thumbnail, you can see that. But yeah, it sounds like it rained, but isn't that wild? In an hour, it rained enough where you just lost everything? God, that sucks. There would have been a ton of forensic evidence. And the thing is, in 1989, people weren't caring at all about DNA. They're not sitting around going, oh, wow, geez, I better look out here. They didn't give a shit about that. They might care about fingerprints, but people weren't talking about DNA at all, hardly at all in 89. I mean, I think it was, scientists did. It was in the 90s sometime where people mentioned DNA, and now it's just, I mean, that's on the top of all their minds. Yeah, I mean, all that stuff. Fingerprints on the notebook, as Debbie just said. I mean, all of those, everything there, right? You can even get fingerprints. Well, I think nowadays you can get fingerprints from skin even. It's kind of crazy, the crap they can do. But, the rain's going to wash that away. The notebook part's interesting, though. I mean, it rained, but what about the other side of the notebook? I mean, did you get fingerprints from the entire notebook? Because if the notebook's laying on the ground, the bottom side, I could imagine surviving an hour or so, even if it's raining. Unless it's an absolute downpour. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was never that type of incident, though, discerning light. It could have been that she was... an advancement was verbally discussed. She said, I don't want anything to do with it. Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. I'm telling my mom, type of thing. And, she's only just turned 13, and this guy decided to kill her instead. He cared about her, but he cared more about himself, preserving himself than her. And when I say, I'm using cared about her really loosely, okay? I don't agree with that one, Cairo. I know there's some of that out there, but I mean, this was 1989. Okay, it's not like today. Sometimes people are just a little bit bigger than other people. I'm not gonna say that. Oh wow, this girl right here is bigger because of hormones in the corporate farm products. Okay, she's probably bigger because her, who knows what her mom looks like. Come on, Jesus. And yes, that. What's Wicked Gaming? She's got her hands up. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, just look at it. There's just people that are bigger than other people. Oh, you're going to get a kickback? Oh. Right. Well, yeah, exactly. On something like that, are you kidding me? Jesus. Yes, let's stop feeding steroids to animals because our kids don't get big. Man, hell, I actually kind of wish when I was young I had a few more, right? I wouldn't have mind being 6'6". I would have been in the NBA because I have the court vision of those guys. Right? I know how to play. I can shoot. But, I was only about 5'10", so it didn't work out. Or 5'11" is my height. As I get older, I keep shrinking a little bit. But damn, I wish they had pumped some of that in my food. Dang. Apparently, when my brother went to Norway, they must have injected him with all kinds of steroids because he went over there at 5'6", and he came back at 6'2". Jumped right over me. I was 5'11" when he left. He was 5'6". He comes back, he's 6'2". It's like, in 1 year, he grew 6 freaking inches. Are you kidding me? Give me some of that. Now he's 6'4". Okay? I need to have a drink too, damn it. The only problem is, I tell you what, when you drink this Gatorade, it sucks. Wicked Gaming's 5'1". Michelle Nicholas is 5'2". Cairo is 6'9". And why is he 6'9"? Because he eats the steroid-injected carrots on a daily basis. Unbelievable. Couldn't you tell that the carrot that he had at the cell tower was injected with steroids? It looked a lot bigger than normal carrots. All right. Yeah. Man, we got some shorties in here, right? And I was using that like the rapper might say. Oh, look at that. Jay Case, he's 6 foot 190, but he's 6'4" with his hair. So he's got one of the do's that they used to have in the 50s, you know, the guys had where they comb it straight up in the air. Yeah. Right. Okay, well, I'm going to take this off the screen here now. And so I thought that it was interesting. It popped up in Gray Hughes Investigates channel, and then Ada also sent it to me, but I'd seen it on the Gray Hughes Investigates Facebook channel, I mean. And I just looked at it and went, wow, that's kind of weird. He's either a serial killer or a pedophile that knew her. That's it. There's no other answer. Okay, a pedophile would have just killed her, shoved her out of the car, and drove away, never to be seen again. That's it. And that would have been after he probably would have assaulted her without even talking to her. A person who cared about her, I could see the scenario that happened. When I say cared, I mean, you know, had a relationship with the family, knew her, that kind of thing. You can see what happened, how that happened. Thank you, Yidber40. That's on Streamlabs, too. All right.
Really enjoy your show. Enjoy your covering the older cases.
Well, cool. I'm having so much fun. Well, you know, when you say fun, like, oh my God, he's having fun covering. Yeah, it's fun because it's fun looking into cases. That's why I do it. Okay, the subject matter is dark and shitty. However, it's interesting, and I call that fun when I'm fulfilling when I'm interested in something, and I get to do that thing. It's fun for me. Okay. So I'm sorry if that's offensive to you that I have fun looking into old cold cases. I don't know of a different, you know, maybe the word fun, you know, I'm not sitting around with a clown hat on, just woohoo. Okay, how about this? That's actually something I wanted to look up. How about we, in a minute, after I go get myself a drink, so I'm going to go ahead and drink along with Cairo. I think are you having the you didn't bust out the Tom Collins tonight? Yeah, how about this? We'll look up clown murders. There's got to be something out there, all right? Hold on. Hey, take that mic out of the bathroom. God. Hey, there's Lanky Tor. I knew it. I was going to say, where's Lanky Tor with please wash your hands? And there it was. Oh, God, there goes my stomach. I just drank some water to get the Gatorade. I bet that was pretty loud. I could hear it in my own ears. My stomach went, "Rah!" Okay, you guys ready then, or what? Oh, by the way, I was looking at these, getting another one of these. Well, I'm not even sure why I would do that, though, but I wanted to try a racing drone, but I don't think I'm gonna. I'm not good enough. Let me keep working on the one I got. Okay, Lanky Tor, I'll go wash my hands.
Gray, please wash your hands. We love you.
No, damn it, I'm not going to. All right, let's see if we can find any here. Here we go. Clown murders. I haven't even looked this up. Now, you guys, here's what I did do earlier, though, is I looked up body found in a barrel, and you just wouldn't believe it. It was almost boring. There were so many of them. Okay, so forget it. Let's see if there's any in this one. Clown murder. Well, let's do more advanced stuff here. How about 1900 to 1978? I think that's better. No, 1976. What do we got here? Nothing makes sense in the clown murders. See? Look, I can't make this shit up, man. I hadn't even looked this up, and there it was. I should have said rodeo clown. Okay, let's see what's going on in this one. Okay. Oh, my God, this is crazy. 1978. Here we go. Nothing makes any sense whatsoever in the clown murders. I don't know. Is this a real thing here? The Clown Murders, the first feature for Canadian documentary filmmakers. So it's a documentary. Let's see. I don't know if this is fake or what. Is this what is this? A real thing that really happened? Happened to the Clown Murders after midnight. An old lady surprises two of the kidnappers. And that puts many Canadian films in country locations. And, maybe that's just the name of the documentary. I don't know. At one point, husband Lawrence Dane. I gave her the best lesson. Can't. Yeah, let me just find a case where a clown murders somebody. Okay. I'm not looking for where a clown is murdered. It looks like that's going to be a big thing. So let me eliminate. I'm gonna get rid of 1977 here. In fact, I'm gonna. Let's see, 1900 to. Yeah. 1976. So that's still in there? Crap. Oh, there you go. How about this one? Ex-clown murders friend who called him too old. And this is from 1961. Here we go. With a performer's love for adulation, Edward Gillamy played the clown in front of the neighborhood children for free when he could no longer get money from the circus. He was too old, too sick to perform now, as he had as a what's that called? A politer, the clown. So his name was Politer the Clown. For a generation of Americans, for royalty, and for a president. And then the woman he loved told him the same bitter thing. He was too old. It was too much for the 69-year-old Politer. In a statement to police Monday, Ghelami said he grabbed a heavy axe and struck Mrs. Elna Gabriel Nelson, 49, a divorcee and veteran circus performer, Stanley, in the kitchen of the home and had shared with Ghelami for the past 7 years. An axe. God, maybe that's where they get this crap about the clowns with axes, huh? Still enraged at Mrs. Nelson's disclosure that she no longer cared for him, that he had become too old for her, Ghelami said he then stuck several kitchen knives into the woman and slit her throat. After the slaying, the man, described by Bergen County prosecutor Guy W. Calisi as a down-and-out clown. Okay, I mean to laugh at that part, but so the prosecutor referred to him as, hey, listen, this guy's a down-and-out clown. I think that's almost mug-worthy right there, isn't it? Come on. A down-and-out clown? Listen, I'd like to call you a rodeo clown, sir, but I can't even do that. You're a down-and-out clown. All right? Let's see. Down-and-out clown tried to blow himself up with a stage prop bomb, the type he once used to make a big noise and give off a lot of smoke to provoke laughter. This time it was a dud, and Ghelami surrendered quietly to police. Well, there's one story done with the clowns. Okay. So what is this thing actually? Okay, so it's just kind of a goofy documentary, I guess. What's going on, Blue? All right, let me try a different wording here. Clown murders. Oh, wait, I already said that. Murdered by a clown. There we go. Well, this is actually in the Roseburg Review, Roseburg, Oregon, but it was something that happened in Chicago. This is 1912. It said, November 1st, Miss Sophia Singer, the Chicago heiress, was murdered by Chas Conway, a circus clown and professional high diver, according to the confession to the police this afternoon of Beatrice Ryle, Conway's wife. It is alleged that the woman confessed after being subjected to 3 hours grilling by the police. Conway killed Sophia Singer, so the clown is also a woman. Wow, a woman clown. Wow, so you women are killers too, right? Women clown killers. That's amazing. We can all tell everybody now, what's the weirdest thing you've heard all week? Well, there's actually women clown killers. Or women that are clowns that are killers. There you go. Miss Singer was murdered in a Chicago rooming house last Monday night. The Conways were arrested at Lima, Ohio 2 days later and brought here. Oh, let's see. It says right here. Conway killed Sophia Singer. She is alleged to have told the police he struck her on the head with a brass doorknob, then tied her up. The Killer Clown Rally by Delusional Lucidity. Gray, you're so mean, she said. Alright, I'm gonna go back to what else we got here. Thank
Killer
you.
Clowns Rally. P.S. Gray Yosu MMMMEEAAANNNN.
That sounds a little too much like CNN at the end now, you know? What is this? Is this a joke here? What does this one say? Okay. Well, that's an act they have on that one. I don't see clown. That's a paper from 1900 right there. All right, give me another one, guys. Come up with something. All right. Yeah, well, I limited the date. I think if I had switched that to, like, it wasn't Gacy like early 80s, late 70s, something like that. No, not another case. Well, you gotta give me something where you look it up. Ah, man, my nose is plugged. It's something how you would look something up. You know, if you type in axe killers, that's not something the paper would have. No, you got to do it like the phraseology. Something like killed in a wood chipper. Yeah, maybe look at that thing. I hate how that thing wiggles around. Body, parts, wood, chipper. How about that? Wow. Looks like this case here is a wood chipper. A little too, wow, that's crazy. Anyways, let me do what I looked at earlier. Watch. Oh, I said 1900 to 1990. Here we go. Body. God, why does it wiggle like that? You see that? Body found in barrel. Wow. This is crazy because this is 1903. So I guess they've been doing the barrel thing for a while. New York, April 20th, 1903. Police Inspector McCluskey announced today that the identification of the body that was found in a barrel last Tuesday would be positively made within a few hours and that the identification would come from Buffalo. I wish to say, said the inspector, that all these stories stating that the murdered man was mixed up in the Waterbury, Connecticut strike are absurd. There is no foundation for them whatsoever. The solution of the mystery attached to the murder will come from Buffalo. Murder was a man. Huh. Wow. So I guess the whole barrel thing, it just goes on and on and on. It just never ends. I mean, no, look at this. Hey, look at that. Fourth of 5 bodies found in a barrel identified. God, I hope that's not part of this nuclear lab security breach right there. Man, that'd be crazy. All right, pick something else. Yeah, I have no hope. Where, let's see, Stephanie Harlow just, she tweeted out earlier something about we might do like a panel where we're all on there and we're talking about the whole demonetization issue. So we'll see how that goes. It's ridiculous, really. It used to be that I could challenge something and 9 times out of 10 they would accept it, and then it would be monetized. That's not crime, Ada. Jesus. I guess we could make it paranormal in here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do what Ada just said. God, there goes my stomach again. Well, I don't know. That's not really, you know. Yes, her body looked like it was burned. Let's see. Missing body found, missing feet. Let's say something like that, right? Huh. It's a collapsed building. Well, how about something more specific? You know, like in Iowa or something like that? Pick a phrase that, you know, some of these towns that have serial killers in them, a phrase that was a commonality in them. Right? Try something like that. Yeah, well, last night, here, I'll show you my YouTube again, just for the hell of it, okay? They're little to no ads, so some people might randomly get one, but it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what they're doing. I know I just sounded like on the movie Spinal Tap. No one knew who they were or what they were doing. God, stomach. Yeah. So here you go. Here's my video manager. See this right here? Not suitable for most advertisers. That's last night. Not suitable for most advertisers. Not suitable for not. Like the yellow means not suitable. Now I did have 3 here that weren't, like the Annette Schnee, Bobby Oberholzer night. Like what makes those different? And my strawberries and candy canes and true crime, where we talked about the same shit we always talk about, but apparently putting strawberries and candy canes on there made a big difference. All right. All right, I'm going to go over to the Indiana State Police cold case files again. All right. Somebody pick a color. I'll click on that, see what we got. Yeah. Texas torture dungeon. Okay, green. There we go. That's the... I don't know if that's Versailles district. 1982, Clifford Smith. Keela Waddell, 1988. Circumstances. Keela Waddell was a well-known and well-loved member of the Medora community in rural Jackson County. She was a teacher at Medora Elementary School and a mother to 3 children, a son and his younger twin brothers and sister. Keela lived in a mobile home located behind her mother, I think I read this one, and father's residence. Keela was last seen alive in the evening hours of August 17, 1988. Keela Waddell was murdered in the overnight or morning hours between August 17th and August 18, 1988. Keela Waddell's lifeless body was discovered in her mobile home by her mother in the morning hours of August 18, 1988. It was discovered that Keela had been bludgeoned to death in her bedroom. Anyone with information? All right, let's just see if this randomly, if she shows up. All right, here we go. I'll put it right there. Indiana. 1988. Yeah. 1988. Oh, there you go. See? Now we've got an article on her. Oh, that's actually got information on it. So when did it say this was? This was August 1988. So let's see if we can find anything. So here's one from August 23rd, right around the time. Another busy night for Medora School Board. Read a letter expressing the board's sympathy and condolences to the family of Keela Waddell. Okay, that's just not going to have any information. How about this one? Keela R. Waddell, 33, of Medora, died between 10:30 p.m. Wednesday and 7:30 a.m. Thursday at her home. She was a member of First Christian Church of Columbus and a second-grade teacher at Medora. She graduated from Columbus North High School in 1973 and Indiana University in 1978. She was born on October 11, 1954. So she'd be about 54 right now, I would think. Wow, so she had 3 kids and somebody just came in there and pummeled her. That's bizarre. Alright, so that was August, November. Okay, let's see this one. Nearly 4 months after the murder of Medora resident Keela Waddell, state and county police are continuing to interview potential witnesses in an attempt to narrow a list of possible suspects. Sergeant Joe Shirley of the Jackson County Sheriff's Department told the Banner, "That is what we are attempting to do now, narrow the scope of the investigation." Let's see if they have any information. Okay, authorities believe Mrs. Waddell was attacked about 3 a.m. So After that initial report, they must have narrowed it down to a time. Perhaps somebody, a neighbor of some, heard a scream or something like that. So Waddell was attacked about 3 a.m. Thursday, August 18th, in the mobile home where she lived with her 3 children. An autopsy indicated she died of head injuries caused by blows from a blunt object. Investigators said there was no sign of forcible entry, so somebody maybe she knew, and nothing apparently was stolen. State Police Detective Sergeant James Blevin said there was nothing at the scene to indicate sexual assault, he said. Or sexual assault. He said the victim was fully dressed in night clothes. On the Sunday following the murder, some Medora residents found a baseball bat and some other items in a ditch near the town's ballpark. The bat, along with various items from the mobile home, were sent to the State Police Laboratory for tests. Wow, so what do you guys think of this one? This is another one of those unsolved ones, but I mean, it's crazy, right? How could it not be solved? This person knew her, right? Definitely knew her. There was no sexual assault, and there was no forcible entry into the mobile home. So that means that God, that's crazy. 3 kids. I mean, I guess I'm sure they looked into the father of the kids. They probably, yeah. It's wild. I wonder what came of the baseball bat, though. So I have it 1988 here. Let me expand that out now. So we'll do 1989 to 1995. All right, see what we get. So this is quite a bit later. Look at this one, man. I guess we have to go over this one now. That's a big one there, though. All right, let's see what we got here. Who killed Keila Waddell? With family and friends of the elementary school teacher let's see. The elementary school teacher ever... What happened over here? Something popped up on my screen to the left. For sure, what happened early the morning of August 18th, 1988 in the back bedroom of the mobile home. So now we got a little more information. Behind her parents' house in Medora. So the mobile home was actually behind her parents' house as well. So you kind of wonder if the parents heard some of this. Or will her death become another unsolved homicide? Well, it turns out that it's still unsolved, even though this article was 1989. 30 years ago was this article. Word of the elementary school teacher's death spread quickly, but word that she had been killed came later, and information was sketchy. Her mother, Wanda Freeman, who discovered the body, said her first thought was that Keila had fallen and hit her head. Ambulance attendants... You'd think that if she was being stalked or something like that, she would have told her mom. So the fact that her first thought was that means that maybe that didn't happen. Her father, Glenn Freeman, summoned home from work, said it had been some hours before he had realized Keela's death was not an accident. Sergeant Joe Shirley of the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, one of the investigators, responded to a comment of the father, told him the death was a homicide. Let's see. A youth turned over to police a stained baseball bat he found, among others, in the discarded area of the ball field a little more than 2 blocks south of Waddell's home a few days after the killing. Did the killer drive to the home and seek entry by knocking on the front door, or walk to the home and enter unknown to the residents? Did the killer take along a weapon with intimidation or even murder in mind? Or did the killer, in unplanned violence, take advantage of something not discovered missing from the home? Did she see and talk to the killer? Yeah, I mean, those are things you're not going to get to know. Or was she asleep when attacked? Did her body fall on the bed during the attack? I don't know. You guys should know that, right? Or was it arranged with deliberation by the killer? Okay, I see what you're saying. So, did she actually fall, or was she placed there? It's weird that you guys are wondering about that. Did the children hear things or see things? Did something scare the killer away? Did the killer leave by the self-locking back door in the hallway by her bedroom, or go out the front? Did the murder leave no mark on the killer's body, no impression on the killer's personality? Now, this is a pretty extensive, long article for an update like a year later on a, let's see. Did someone in the small town in southwestern corner of Jackson County see something that can help investigators find Keela Waddell's killer? Dogs barked at night, as they often do in the area, close enough to the Medora knobs for little wild critters to wander in. What does that mean? Dogs barked at night, as they often do in the area, close enough to the Medora's knobs. Forget it. Did anyone hear something, see anything? Did someone kill Keela Ray Freeman Waddell, deserve to die for something she had done or not done? Did anyone stand to gain? So I guess these are just a bunch of questions that they're putting out there. I wonder if, though, when you're reading these questions, they kind of give little hints of what they have. Man, what's all these comments? What's going on over here? Yeah, no, it means that somebody probably has you blocked somewhere, Charlotte. Yeah, a moderator probably has you blocked, and so that's what you see. It happens to me all the time when I go to different channels in the true crime community. I see that same comment, so don't worry about it. Don't take offense. Somebody just doesn't like you, okay? And I'm sure all of us have something similar. I think it sounds like questions that they're asking. I wonder if they even had some, interviewed the police to see if they could help out and ask these questions. Because they know stuff in these questions, Rick Raven Rumney, that you weren't, I don't know if you were paying attention, but the questions in here have knowledge of what actually happened. Like, the body was on the bed. Was it placed there intentionally, or did it fall on the bed? Well, that's not in the paper. Any of that stuff. It just said she was found in the back room. The investigation has determined that Keela Waddell died between 1 and 5 a.m. that Thursday from being slammed in the head a number of times with a blunt instrument. So now that's a little bit more information. The 5'2", 120-pound woman has no alcohol or other drugs in her system, the autopsy showed. She was not pregnant, and she had not been sexually assaulted. Now, let me read this part above that. But one person has refused the test and refuses to talk to police, even with a lawyer present. Another has been reluctant to talk because of a grudge against police in general. So there you go. That could be somebody right there. Nothing has yet made it possible to arrange the puzzle pieces into a full picture. Investigators still look for new angles and missing pieces. Family and friends keep churning in their minds the bits and pieces they know, hoping to find some piece to help. Yeah, I do find it's weird how like you find these cases and then they end up being interesting. Don't you think? It's wild. I mean, I know there's people out there. Okay, I want to talk about all the the really common, popular ones. But look at this one. I mean, you got a teacher, 3 kids. She's in a mobile home in her parents' property. Parked there. Built there, whatever the hell. And somebody goes in there that obviously knew who the hell she was, probably. I mean, you'd think, because there'd be no... And went in there not to sexually assault her, but beat her to death in the head. They went there to kill her. That's it. That's why they went to the house. I mean, look at this right here. See, it's the 5'2", 120-pound woman had no alcohol or other drugs in her system. The autopsy showed she was not pregnant and she had not been sexually assaulted. Chandler said there was no indication that a big struggle had taken place in Waddell's bedroom. The 28-month-old twins apparently were not aware of any struggle. So 28-month, that means that they were... over 2 years old, 2 years and 4 months old. Apparently not aware of any struggle, and the older boy remembers hearing sounds, but their significance is uncertain, Chandler said. Who then killed Keila Waddell and why? Did the 33-year-old mother of 3 let her killer in willingly, or late that Wednesday night after her 6-year-old returned from a quick visit to his grandmother's house? So she has a 6-year-old, man. That's old enough to hear what happened and formulate what's going on, but apparently it didn't even really wake him up. He heard something. After her 6-year-old returned from a quick visit to his grandmother's house a few dozen feet away. So it sounds like so her, the mobile home is in her parents' house, but who would then be grandparents to the 6-year-old. I mean, I know it's pretty obvious, but I just threw it out there. I was working through it in my own head. Visit to his grandmother's house a few dozen feet away with pudding cups for the 4 of them. Did she forget to lock the door? See, that's what I'm saying. This article here has a lot of information that either they got through interviews or the police helped them create this whole question and answering thing here. Or late that Wednesday night, after the 6-year-old returned from a quick visit to his grandmother's house a few dozen feet away with pudding cups for the 4 of them. Did she forget to lock the door? That's a possibility. Was the killer familiar with the large mobile home set at an angle and partly hidden behind the Freeman garage? Huh. Does it say in here their name? Let me type that in. Alright, I'm going to try something here. Okay. Glenn and Wanda Freeman. All right. Wanda Freeman. Is that a common name? Jesus. Or I'm gonna do the guy, Glenn. I think that's less common. Not much though. This is in, where the hell, what town is this in again? God, I've lost the entire... Medora. Is that actually a town in Indiana? Yep. Okay, so there you go. Oh, that's cool looking. Look at that. Wow, that's almost flyby material there. Look at that shit. Oh, God, can you guys hear that? My stomach just made that. I think I ate too much, like some milk products. So Medora, alright, so I'm gonna go to try this. And what was her name again? Wanda. Okay. Alright, so if she was 33 at the time, they'd be like 90 something now. For sure. I bet this makes more sense. Let's see. Maybe even 106 kind of makes sense. Glenn Freeman. Maybe this is a kid. So let's see. If it was 39, it'd be 30 years from now. She was 33, so let's say her parents were 60. So they'd be 90 about right now, ish, right? So let me do the Wanda Freeman again. Oh, look at that. In 83, that's a possibility right there. And Medora. That's got to be her right there. Wanda R. Freeman. Well, there's not going to be two Wanda Freemans in Medora, okay? Unfortunately, they only have this one freaking P.O. box there. Let's see, relative. Yeah, darn it. Oh, she's deceased. No, wait. Hold on. So she's still alive, and then her husband's name was Glenn. Wait, yeah, her mother is Wanda Freeman, and her father is Glenn Freeman. But I don't see the relative down here that would say that. See, this is it right here. This Wanda R. Freeman, 83. Has to be. Although, look at there's another Wanda R. at 60, but I think that's the same person. View full background report. I was just going to try to see if I could see the property. Man, I wonder if she's in there. I bet you... Let's try this. Okay, Keela Weddell. Okay, I'm just gonna try to remember it that way. Probably Kayla, right? I mean, 89, that's recent enough where they might have something. Okay, so she was 33. She would be 63-ish now. Yeah, it's not even in there. Well, yeah, she's not even in there. Darn it. Yeah, that's tough. That's a hard one there. I'd like to see the property. I bet you that mobile home's still sitting there. Let's see. Was the killer familiar with the large mobile home set at an angle and properly hidden behind the Freeman garage? Did the killer know the small footprints of the Waddell children had been set into the concrete walkway to the trailer? Why would that matter? Could Keela Waddell have been chosen at random, the target of a killer seeking no particular victim, only the opportunity to exercise violence? So what you're referring to right there is a serial killer. Unlikely as it seems, could a thrill killer passing on the major east-west highway a few miles to the north have detoured to Medora for some reason and picked the Waddell residence as a target? Would such a killer have left without taking anything? Without sexually assaulting the teacher or directly harming the children? And I think no. I mean, it's weird. This case is actually somewhat similar to the original case that we talked about. There's a connection between her and the killer, and they just haven't been able to make it yet. Maybe they have, but they just can't prove it. Did Kayla Waddell know something that put her in danger? Something of which she was not even aware? Or had she gotten involved in something that eventually resulted in her death? Could someone have been hired to kill her? Why? Leads have been followed. They are slower now coming in, Chandler said. He recently checked the similarities. If she had any spent time in bars and running around, said Indiana State Police Sergeant Jim Blevins, we would know a lot more, get more leads, but she didn't do that. She spent time with her kids. See, this is like a good person who was just killed. Yeah, let me see what else we got here in the articles. I'm going to switch this up to like 19... 98 to 2010. Yeah, and you're talking way later. So there's a Mary Freeman right there. Let me go back to the address checker if I still have it open. Forget it. It's her name's too common at that point. It has been 18 years since I received the phone call. My niece, Keila Waddell, was dead, beaten to death in her Medora home. What a wrenching feeling went through my body. Disbelief, then reality. Both of Keila's parents have since died. Wanda died April 16th, 1990. That's probably why I'm having such a hard time finding this. Wanda died April 16th, 1997. So they must have been old parents, really. Because, 89. Well, I mean, it didn't have to be that old. But if she's 33, let's say there was 60. I guess that'd be like 70 or something. And then Glenn died March 13th, 2000. And that's actually happens to be the same date that my brother died. Not the year, but the same March 13th. Both never knowing who killed their precious daughter. Wanda would call me every morning until she was too sick with cancer to dial the phone. She always went over and over about the killing of Keila. Who? Why? Let's see. Although I know life isn't always fair, I feel justice should be done. I know other people care, not just Keila's family. They did, right here it says, how about DNA? We were all so scared for our own lives and our family for so long. Please, someone do something. Yeah, so yeah, what about DNA? I mean, did you guys secure the crime scene well enough? There must have been something left at that mobile home. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I've got tons of articles right here to go through. So now we're at a 20-year one here. So that's her right there in that picture. Been 20 years since Keila Waddell was found bludgeoned to death in the mobile home she shared with her 3 young children. Let's see. Her daughters lifeless in her bedroom. They're talking about the mother, or her grandchildren wondering why their mother wouldn't wake up. We know a bloody ball bat was found nearby. We know police have focused on at least, well, like, here's the thing. If you found a bloody baseball bat and it was their blood, I mean, the killer held it. Now, if you wore gloves, forget it, right? We know police have focused on at least 2 suspects over the years, but that's about it. No charges, no arrests, no resolution. Wanda and Keila's father, Glenn, have since died. The lack of answers gnawed at them. They'd tell you, though never feeling sorry for themselves. Waddell's family say they have an idea of a suspect, but they've kept that to themselves. Just as police have kept secret their suspects. 2 years ago, Stephen Pearson, who was then the Jackson County prosecutor, confirmed that evidence collected in the investigation had recently been reviewed and tested again. So this is an article from 2008 that we're looking at right here. See, this is one of those milestone type things. They need to do it again now. They get the FBI back in there, go over all the evidence collected, and see if you can get some kind of a DNA profile, because whatever they're doing now, they're able to get DNA from almost nothing. Let's see. Evidence collected in the investigation has recently been reviewed and tested again, and that several persons of interest had been interviewed in the case. At some point, people quit being paranoid about what they say and start saying things they wouldn't say then. Pearson said 2 years ago. Apparently, that time had not come. Again, no charges were filed, no one was arrested, and now it's been 20 years. And of course, it goes another... Is there anything in 2010? No, well, there you go. There's... The older daughter of Wanda and Glenn Freeman was found beaten to death August 18, 1988, in mobile home she shared with her 3 young children. This is 2010. Her children are now grown. Her parents have died, yet there's no resolution to her murder. Her killer still walks free. We must assume there's been no big break in the case. There's been no arrest, no guilt-ridden confession. Let's we have had to move forward with our lives. See, what I'm doing right now is kind of what I do before the show a lot of time. You know, I'm just going through all this shit until it makes sense to me. I'm reading the comments. Hey, come on, guys. You don't need to time somebody out. There's people, you know, if he said Indiana people are dumb, so what? You know, it doesn't mean he's right. They do say seen a lot. Hey, I seen that yesterday. Okay, so, you know, he might be onto something there. I'm just kidding. God. I think that's sort of a Midwest thing where they say seen. No, I seen that yesterday. Yeah, I seen that. Yep, I seen that. What do you mean, yep, it is gray? What does that mean, Nordman? It's not like it's, I mean, that's just what he's saying. And then let the Indiana people say, hey, you're full of it, man. Come on. You don't need to block him now. I get a lot of complaints that people on here block, you know, don't let people say what they want to say. Like if they're in here and they're trashing the show or they're saying racial comments, then by all means, remove them, block them, do whatever the hell you want to do, okay? But if they make a comment like that, there's no racial connotation, it's just an opinion of what they think of people in Indiana, then let the Indiana people get back to them and say you're full of crap. Okay? But you don't need to, you know. Right. But maybe he thought that it was rude that he was being blocked too, Kit Kat, so, you know. That his comment was deleted. Could have been that, right? I'm just saying. I just... I don't want to get. Let's just not get too. It just here's the thing is. Let's say Barney Fife was rude to somebody who wasn't a moderator. Would you block them? Probably not. So the thing is, it doesn't matter. If they're just rude to a moderator, it's just someone being rude. I don't know how to explain it, but to me, it's just say something back or something. I don't know. I get what you're saying. It's kind of a slippery slope, because I trust all my moderators and all that, but at the same time, I would use it for something that's a big deal. You know what I mean? Something like that. Okay. Yeah. Lanky Tor agrees with everybody. Yeah, if somebody comes in, I mean, you're gonna know when something to block, right? Someone comes in there and starts busting out the porn shit, racial comments, things like that. That's where, or like, oh, Gray, you're, cutting down the actual show. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the thing. Then you can get rid of those people, right? That's it. But if you're battling it out with somebody, like you're in a chat over there, and like you say something, they say something, you say something, you're going back and forth, you shouldn't use your wrench to silence them, right? Because that means that they don't have that on their side. It should just be where you guys are battling back and forth. Or just say, listen, I don't want to talk to you. Something like that. Now, if they're sitting there and they constantly keep going and going and going, even if you say, hey, I'm not interested, then go ahead and block them. Because then they're just disrupting the entire show at that point. Yeah, I did say that on Reddit. I saw that too. There's a whole thread on Reddit about how mean Lanky Tor is. It's weird. I went in there and debunked that shit right away, though. What are you talking about, Barney? See, Barney, right now I just sort of was saying, hey, let's not do that. So don't come in now and act like you got some, just let it go. I just was discussing it. All right? It's not a big deal. It's all figured out. All right? Hold on. All right? Don't you like my sniff? Nuh-uh. Nobody, it's not real. We made that up. Okay, it never happened. There's no post on Reddit about Lanky Tor. Okay, don't go check and try to find it. Now there are 5 or 6 subreddits though. Yeah. Yeah, I actually hadn't even looked on Google yet for an article on this case because we were just kind of going through it, but I'm going to, let's see what we got. Switch the date now to 2011 to 2019. This is 2013. Weddell was a 32-year-old second grade teacher at Medora Elementary School. She was murdered in the early morning hours of August 18, 1988, in the mobile home on her parents' property where she lived. That day, Hall remembered she was to pick Weddell up to carpool to work. I was working at the courthouse, and she had a summer job there. She said during an interview at her home, I was in her driveway, and Mom came out of the house and told me that Kayla had a computer class that day and wouldn't go to work. By the time Hall made it to the courthouse, her mother had discovered Weddell's body in the mobile home. Freeman said he was at work when he got the call to come home. Once he crossed the bridge over the White River, he said he sensed something wasn't right. I remember thinking, this isn't good, he said. Freeman said he'll always remember making eye contact with his mother, Wanda, for the first time after Weddell's death. I can never describe the feeling, he said. You feel so helpless, hurt, numb, and as her brother, I felt like I had to protect her, but you couldn't do anything. Freeman remembers his father, Glenn, reacting to the situation. He said his father tried to support the family. Dad was the rock, he said. It's pretty amazing that they continued talking about it for all these years. It actually continues on to page 10 somewhere. All right, this is the one that Michelle sent over. This one is from August 18th. I think that's the 30-year anniversary. 18, so 8/18/18. Oh, there's no pictures here. It sucks. Is this... Let me check another browser just to make sure that's not something that is browser specific. Sometimes certain browsers don't. Nope, doesn't work. Crazy. Her mother found her body the morning of August 18th. Weddell, the mother's 6-year-old son, 3-year-old twins, a girl, boy. I think we've read all that. Police covered the scene of the murder for days, searching for clues, conducting interviews, and trying to determine who would have killed the popular, friendly teacher and mother of 3. There was no evidence of forced entry, and nothing was stolen from the home, police said. Since then, there have been countless tips and hundreds of police interviews. So I think this is like... or lose hope, but it just gets a little dimmer each day. Right here it says, I think it may come down to science, and if something breaks. Well, I think they need to be retesting all of this stuff to see if they have any DNA at all, because now it's a total different ballgame. So somebody needs to be down there saying, hey, test this again. Let's get the DNA and get a hold of DNA Dope Project or Parabon and get this shit identified. Anyways, that's it. I am gonna head to bed. All right. See, the first story I had already researched and had it together. See, this other part's kind of what I do during a day, trying to get stuff ready for a show. So I have to go through all the articles over and over again, and then I put together the information in a folder so that it's kind of in chronological order, so we can kind of go through it together. Woosah. What does woosah mean, Sassmare? Sassmare. Yeah, they definitely need to retest this shit. Hell, I didn't even know there was snow. I mean, that it would look like there was mountains like this in Indiana. I always thought it was kind of flat. I mean, I know it snows there quite a bit, but look at that whole mountain range there. What the hell is that? This muddy river. Yeah, that was fun. Kit Kat. Thank you. Oh yeah.
So happy to stay up late with Ray and the Freak Family Heart.
The Freak Family. Yeah, so early God, it was like 6 in the morning. I got a PayPal donation, I guess from the video. I don't know, the one from last night. So I got that, and then I just got one also on PayPal from Yvette earlier. So thank you. And then I'm going to go over to the Barbara Smith, Barney Fife, Barbara Smith again, Kit Kat, Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming Sub, Raven, Lanky Tor, Delusional Lucidity, and Kit Kat. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Hey, look at that. There's Richard the Mechanic. Where are we going to go right now? Let's see. Okay, where are we going this time? We always end up going back to Utah because there's really nothing landscape-wise that's better than that. Iceland? Ah, Jesus. Hey, what happened to, God, what the hell is her name? She's a moderator. Remember she'd always call in and say, like, have something, and a link, but it was always to something else, and I was goofed around with that. I haven't seen her in a long time. Yeah, Lynn. Where the hell's Lynn? Her name just didn't pop into my head. Where the hell's Lynn G? Have any of you guys seen her in a long time? I haven't seen her in a long time. Hey, thanks, Richard. Oh, come on. That whole Bryce Canyon looks way better. Hey, thanks, Richard. Mechanic. Richard the Mechanic, and Claudia Neubauer.
Another night into the mornings spent with here.
Now there's battles over which park's cooler.
Hey, Gray.
I mean, we can't even do the
Great Liv once
flybys
again.
anymore. What's Blue doing? See, that's the Garden of the Gods. Yeah, we've been there before. Right? Remember that? I mean, it's kind of cool, but, you know. Ohio Italian Lady? Is that a... oh, that's your name. I thought that was a place. Yeah, I mean... yeah. Banff Springs is cool. Alright, maybe I'll do that one in a second. Thank you, Ohio Italian Lady. That's very specific. I will bet money that that person lives in Ohio, is a female, and is of Italian ancestry. Now, I know that I am pretty good at investigating stuff, but my God, I think I just figured that one out just randomly with no help whatsoever. Garden of the Gods. Yeah, and where the hell's Nenny C too? You know, I always had Nenny C in here with the laughing at my jokes. Okay, so we're missing Lin G and Nenny C. Okay, so let's go out and figure out where the hell they went. Yeah, I don't know where Mama Bear is. She's probably doing school stuff. I don't know. Mama Bear's, she was just here a couple days ago. I haven't seen the other ones for a few days. I don't know, Sassmare. I want to be golfing tomorrow, and I don't know. You never know. You never know. Wow, I got it right!
Boom! Good night, freaks!
That was a good move right there. Come on, everybody. went to your Banff Springs. Where's the other one? Hey, and there we are at the nebulae. Of course, I don't know if that really exists, but I think there's a good chance. Given that there's trillions of stars out there. Even more than that. Anyways. Alright, everybody. Thank you for showing up tonight, going over all the different cases, especially the first one. I think that one, out of all of them, I want that one solved. That one's crazy. Alright. So I hope you guys had a good time this evening. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I'm all out of words. No problem, mag. All right. Well, thank you guys for always showing up every night, it seems like. It's awesome. And, you know, chatting away. I'm trying not to care if people are talking about other stuff, okay? I realize that there's a lot of people watching that aren't in the chat. And whenever I do too much of that, it distracts from it. So tonight I tried more not to pay as much attention. I did a little bit at the end there, but that's about it. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up tonight. And until next time, be safe out there.